So Noomi, one of the hottest characters in world literature.
Yeah.
How much did you know about her before beginning work on this first film?
Well, actually, I read the books a couple of years before, so I knew her pretty good. And I liked her, very much from the beginning. And I felt some kind of connection with her. So I was, when they phoned me and wanted me to come to an interview, I had a pretty clear picture of who she was.
When you read her originally, though, did you immediately see yourself in the role?
Yeah, but I always do. So, I can read about, a middle-aged man and I see myself in a way. But yeah, I did.
And how soon after reading the character in the books did you hear about the films being made?
Maybe 2 years or something. 1.5 years. I read in the paper, actually, that they were going to do a film. And I was very angry and very upset and very sad because I was so sure they wouldn't, consider me or even thinking of me. Because I thought they were going to judge me for being too girly or too feminine or too cute in a way. Because I knew that I could transform into her. But, I didn't think they could imagine that I could change so much. So I was very surprised when they called me and wanted me to come to an interview.
Give us an idea of how you transformed into this character, what preparation and research that you did.
I wanted to change my body. I wanted to be more like a boy, a bit more masculine. So I put myself on a diet. Because I wanted to get rid of my female softness in a way, and I exercised a lot of Thai boxing and kickboxing with a, crazy Serbian guy, and I also cut my hair and I pierced myself and I took motorcycle driving license. So it was a lot of preparation for 7 months or something before the shootings, and. But I didn't do so much research. I met some, people that were really good at computers because I'm not. But it was important for me to, in a way, close my eyes and my ears to the outside world because everybody wanted to talk to me about Lisbeth. And everybody knew her and everybody, wanted to give their picture of her to me. So I had to just create some kind of bubble around me and listen to myself and find my own personal Lisbeth in a way.
Because of this transformation you described, did that make it easier to have a line between Lisbeth and Noomi?
Yeah, or more like there is no line because it's more a mix between me and Lisbeth, and I had to, because I don't like to pretend things. I don't like to fake. So I try to do everything as near reality as I possibly can. So it's more like I have to find her in me and use me and, translate things that I've gone through and feelings and emotions and experiences from me into her.
And again, because there'd been a physical aspect to your preparation, and I presume it was quite a grueling shoot. It's a long film.
Yeah.
Did that help as well?
Yes, absolutely. I think that I always try to prepare myself as much as I can before, and then you can let go of control when you're working, and you don't have to think so much, and then everything is in your body, and you can just let things go, and you can, if you trust the director, you can just, leave everything else behind and just be in the situation and everything will come because, your body is so prepared and is so open. And so it's more like the character have moved in a way.
How easy is it for the character to move out at the end of the day?
Well, that's really not possible for me. It's more like I had to, when I was done 1.5 years later, I'm never sick actually, but I began to throw up. All the producers were standing with champagne and they wanted to celebrate when we were done with the third film. But I couldn't, stand on my feet because I was throwing up. And it was like my body was throwing Lisbeth out of me in a way. So that was, I have lived with her for 1.5 years, but at that moment I think my body left her.
Once you got the role, but before on the first day that you started shooting, and as a fan of the books, did you feel the pressure of playing this character?
Yeah, of course. It was like a suicide mission in a way because, everybody, the expectations were so high and everybody was talking about, who's going to play Lisbeth, and when they released that I was going to do her, it was crazy. So, of course, but I had to take a decision to just, push everything else away. And it was because I knew that it's not possible to satisfy everybody, and they will probably hate me, but I have to just ignore that fact.
I suppose you have an even deeper understanding of the character than just a reader might, having been with her for a year and a half and played her.
Yeah, I think so. She felt very close to me. And after a while, I wasn't really sure what was Noomi and what was Lisbeth. So it was pretty strange. So, yeah. And it was like, because also, you know, it's my own mother who plays Lisbeth's mother, actually, in that scene. So I always try to do everything as personal as I can and put it as close to myself as I possibly can. So yeah, I felt like I knew her pretty good.
Is she someone you like a great deal now, even more than you had before?
Yeah, but also it's now she's a part of my life in a way, and I'm pretty tired of her. Also, I was, you know, because it was pretty heavy to work for such a long time with her. I felt very lonely and a bit isolated, and I was very angry, and I felt like everybody was against me. And at the moment, I couldn't see that it was Lisbeth. I felt like everybody's against me, Noomi, and so it was pretty good to let her go. Also,
there must be times though in your everyday life now when you wonder what would Lisbeth do.
Yeah, and but you know, she also learned me in a way that it's not necessary to be liked by everybody all the time. You know, you can go, if you know what you want, just do it, and you have to be true to yourself, and they will see. Maybe later on they will realize that you were right.
I guess when people watch the film, that there's many things they'll take from it, and there's some tough scenes in the movie, and for an actress or an actor, sometimes the violent scenes or the sexual scenes are very carefully choreographed. Are there things in the movie that are harder, that will surprise people, that you found harder?
Well, it's always a big difference between, you know, reading something in a book and see it, you know, in a big screen. And it was very important for me and for Nils, the director, that we made those scenes as realistic and credible as possible, and that the violence wasn't, you know, entertaining. And but yeah, and you know, in the second film, there's a love scene between Lisbeth and Miriam Wu, you know, the girl that her girlfriend, you know, not girlfriend, but her lover anyway. And when the film was released in Sweden, everybody reacted pretty much on that scene, and you know, and it was pretty shocking that it's such a big difference between doing a love scene between a man and a woman and two women. And for me, you know, I don't think it's such a big deal, but it surprised me that people, you know, felt so strong for that scene and, you know, reacted so hard on it.
Are there other pleasant surprises in the way people have reacted to the stories?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Also, yeah, I was so sure that people would hate me, but they don't. And people actually likes the films and love it. I love the films very much. So people are pretty friendly to me. But also it's pretty strange to be recognized, and you know that everybody know me now in a way. It's not always easy to be in, you know, that everybody's watching you and so on. I'm trying to find a way to handle it.
If anyone asks to see the tattoo, I suppose they will be disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
How long did that take to apply?
Oh, half an hour or something.
And that was imported from America?
Yes, from LA. But you can see small scars, you know, from the piercing, so, but no tattoos.
Of course, America has another echo in the future of these stories. Were you offered a part in any American versions of the stories?
No, and I don't want to do Lisbeth again. I've done my, you know, I did everything I could, and I did my best, and I like to leave things behind and go on, and I rather look into the future. I don't like to repeat myself, so it's up to somebody else to do her.
When you were playing the character, did you base any aspect of her on anything other than the book? Any people you knew, or, as you say, people maybe you'd met?
Yeah, I think, you know, I think that everything I've ever gone through is still in my body, and I use everything, you know, it's more like my mind is searching through, you know, experiences and people around me, trying to find things that I can use in my work. But it's not such a... it's more, you know, I'm trying to not think so much on people around me, because, you know, other people told me to see that movie, or were you inspired by Nikita or different kind of female heroines all over? And I said, yeah, probably, because I've seen Nikita maybe 10 times, and I've seen like True Romance with Patricia Arquette many times. So I have those pictures, or those memories and those emotions for female heroines. But I try to clean my mind more than use things from others.
It's also interesting to me because I love thrillers and I love getting into this story and seeing how it went, but also it represents the darkness behind a seemingly perfect society. In a way, I suppose, that Let the Right One In did also. I mean, is this of interest? Has this generated discussion in Sweden that you know of?
Well, I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe. I think that maybe Stieg Larsson's work and our film have put the light on problems like violence against women and the narcissists and so on. So yeah, I think it maybe have opened up things a bit, and people are a bit more awake.
But once you get under the skin of the character yourself, is it difficult to give yourself to the vision that the writer or the screenwriter has in the next story and the one after that? Because you have an opinion about what Lisbeth might do, and it might be different from their opinion.
Yeah, and we had some discussions, we had some fights about script, actually, me and Nils, because I had, I knew her. I felt like I actually knew what she could say and not say, and, how she behaved and so on. And but I think it's good with conflicts. It's good with some resistance. And I love to work with him, and he was, we had a very good year, together. So... But I think it's very, I think it's also a sign of trust if you can fight with each other.
Do you think these films are better because they've all been made so close together?
Yeah, for me, I think it was, a gift for me as an actress to be able to go into this, to Stieg Larsson's universe and go, let Lisbeth move in and stay there for 1.5 years and I didn't have to go in and out because I didn't do anything else, and I didn't talk to the press at all. I didn't do any interviews, and I didn't work with anything else. So I could totally let her, rule my life and be in charge, and that helped me. So for me, it was good.
Thank you.
Thank you.